On my blog today, I talk about using solar energy on the go. Last year, before I traveled to Arizona, Texas, and Utah, I purchased two Jackery 250 watt, two Jackery 300 watt, and one 1000 watt solar generators. Along with these came a bunch of 100 watt solar panels and a 200 watt solar panel, which I still use today. Then a couple weeks ago, as I'm preparing for this trip around the entire United States, I went ahead and I purchased a 2000 watt solar generator. But I did not get the solar panel that you could also have gotten with that. And the reason for that is just because I wanted more energy, but I didn't need the extra ability to capture the energy. Plus, adding a solar panel to that purchase would have just made the price skyrocket, and I'm just not in the position to make that happen right now. What purchasing the 2000 watt storage did for me was allow me to use multiple functions within my car as I'm driving across the country and be able to power the telescopes without relying too much on the smaller solar generators. Now, the smaller solar generators are more than capable of handling the telescopes on their own. In fact, they last about 3 to 4 weeks each before I have to recharge them when I'm using them with the telescopes. But in the car, I'm going to be powering the electric cooler, my phone, my computer, the stand I'm using right now, everything that kind of keeps me connected on the social media side of things. I will be using the telescopes, charging the telescopes on the larger solar banks this time. I just want to go back through what I did last year and how I'm going to change things up a little bit this year in regards to solar energy on the go. Some of what is going to stay the same is the fact that when I'm at gas stations for an extended period of time, or if I'm getting food, or if I'm hiking, or if I'm exploring a museum, I'm going to lay out the solar panels on my car and on the ground around my car. Every day, my 1000 watt generator would use about 18% of its storage capacity, giving me about 5 days of energy without recharging. So whenever I would hook up to the solar panels and spend 15 to 30 minutes in the sun, I could easily recover about 25% of the total amount I used in the past 24 hours. It was very efficient. I made stops at gas stations. I made stops at Meteor Crater, the museum there. At the Grand Canyon, I even stopped. I laid out the solar panels around the general store at the Grand Canyon on the final day that I was there. This time around, though, I'm going to be having some extended stays in multiple areas. So what I'm going to more or less be doing is I need to find areas that are clear for these panels to work, but also know that I don't need to rely on them as much for the extended parts of the trip. Places where I'm going to be staying for 5 to 10 days, I don't need to rely on the solar as much because I am going to have some of that internal power where I want to save most of the solar for when I'm actually on the road, moving around and camping. I do have an electric cooler, and in the car, that electric cooler is connected right up to my more powerful, the 1000 watt generator, or this time I may connect it to the 2000 watts. During my Arizona trip last year, which lasted about 20 days, I had that electric cooler hooked up for the entire time. Only in rare circumstances did it ever actually shut off, that rare circumstance being overheating. When the solar generator itself overheated, it has the automatic safety function where it shuts down. Maybe I could have prevented that by opening the windows and letting some airflow, or having some sort of an internal portable AC to keep things cooler in the car when I was not around. Because the only time it shut off on me, the one time, was at the Grand Canyon when I was hiking 18 miles into the Grand Canyon and back, or 9 miles one way, 9 miles the other. And I came back to my car that evening and I found that the generator had turned off. The electric cooler itself, everything inside was still cold. So it had happened fairly recently. Of course, the insulation helps a lot. So it wasn't like the whole day was ruined. I didn't have to go out and buy new food or anything. The most that happened, honestly, was the ice that had accumulated inside the electric cooler had melted, so things were a little bit wet at the bottom. Just had to wipe that out. It was good to go. Speaking of the electric cooler, this was a lot more, I think, cost efficient than needing a larger cooler and then stuffing all sorts of ice inside of it in order to keep things cold. Number one, the ice itself takes up space. And so you're adding space, you're adding weight and with the ice. And by doing that, every day I would have to go out and dump the ice out or all the water that had melted and then buy a new bag of ice, dump it in, keep doing that, every day, every 2 days or so. With the electric cooler connected to the solar panels, I never had to do that. I could put more things into the cooler itself without relying on ice taking up, or not, I didn't have ice taking up the extra space. The other thing there is I have my telescopes in the car with me. I have my camping gear. This time around, things are going to be a little different. I'm going to have my camping gear up on top of my car with some of my tables and other things that can fit into my new roof rack. I say roof rack, it's a roof bag. But now I'm going to have a little bit more space to work with. But last year I didn't have that. So I needed a cooler that didn't take up so much space that it just wouldn't fit with all my other stuff. This time around, I am going to have a little extra space in the back. I am hoping to get a couple days of car camping out of this because of how much space I'll have between the front seat and the back seats, and even just being able to move stuff to the front seat when I want to sleep. This time around, I will have two large batteries in the back of the car, along with the electric cooler. So I'm going to have to figure out something more space saving, whether that's putting more things on the ground or how I'm going to arrange the solar panels in the back of the car. Because last year, what I did with the solar panels, when I folded them up, I would just slide them between the seats, and that was that. This time, depending on how I arrange things and if I want to do car camping, I can't do it like that, not in the exact same way at least. So I will need to adjust how I arrange the batteries, arrange the solar panels, and where I'm going to put the electric cooler when I am trying to sleep or if I just want extra space to hang out a little bit. In any case, I am really excited for the first fifth of this trip coming up from May 19th to June 9th is like the first block of my trip. This is me getting out west. I'm going to be staying with some friends along the way, and then getting up into Phoenix and Sedona, where I'm going to do more sidewalk astronomy. That'll be the first time I really touched the telescope after being here in St. Pete and having that final day last Friday. After I leave Sedona, I'm heading into Utah, where I'm doing a couple days of camping, staying with a friend, and then getting up into Idaho, where my conferences begin. So for this first 20% of the trip, I will have an itinerary on my blog come this Friday, where I'm outlining where I'm going to be, what I'm going to be doing, and how long I expect everything to take, and how things are planned to go. From there, I will have updates about how the trip is going, changes that may have happened, plans, shifting around what I'm doing, where I'm going to be, where I might end up, especially after the conferences. So all that and more is going to be coming soon. If I'm in a town near you, please reach out or follow me on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook at The Hiking Astronomer and figure out where I'm going to be, because I would love to meet you, especially if I'm doing sidewalk astronomy. I want to do sidewalk astronomy in almost every town I visit, particularly after the Idaho conferences. This way I'll have more time. I'm also going to be doing a couple of national parks during that time frame after the conferences. So if you're around, I will obviously be detailing where I'm going to be throughout the summer, throughout this first planned 108 total days on the road. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to visit my photography store, where you can find pictures like this. This is just a little 5x5 of Mare Imbrium. Those two craters right there kind of point down to the ridge right here, and that's where Apollo 15 landed. I have pictures like that on my store. I have pictures straight from St. Pete and from Utah and Arizona last year on the store. So if you have any interest looking at those would also obviously help me and my journey throughout the U.S. as I bring free sidewalk astronomy and science education to other communities around the United States. Thanks for watching, and keep updated. I'm going to be making a shorter video each day this week in order to detail where I'm at in the moving process as I prepare to leave Florida. And on Friday, that's when you'll find the itinerary on my blog. So visit thehikingastronomer.blog in order to find that and other posts about my adventures around the United States.